How's it going, guys? Chandler with Bell's Diesel Solutions. Got a truck for you today. It's a Freightliner Cascadia, and the customer said that the air is building to 160 and lots of moisture in the system. This truck's had a lot of problems with this issue before, and I've been servicing this customer a little over a year now, and so we're gonna try and resolve it for him for good today and see what we can do. They just went ahead and told me to put a whole dryer on it and see what we can do. They don't know when the dryer was last replaced, but it was definitely before my time. And we're gonna try and blow out some lines if we can. It has had an air compressor on it, I think, at some point. Yeah, I can't remember when, but they said I put it on, but I don't remember if I did that or not. But if I did, then it's had an air compressor. So we know the compressor is likely good. I'll have to check my history and see if that's the case. But they still are having problems with it building to 160. The last time I worked on this, I don't remember it doing that, but I think we were in a hurry or something. We didn't get to actually look at this. It had like other problems that were much more prevalent at the time, and this customer just likes to run his trucks no matter what, so we might have kind of negated doing that. Oh, I remember, it had the high-low, the shifter was seized and it was blowing air in the transmission, so it had to get a whole new top plate high-low shifter, so it went down to Texas for that. I didn't do that, but that's what it was. I remember now. So we're gonna look at this air issue and see what we can figure out, but we're gonna drain all the air, change out the dryer, and then we'll kind of start our troubleshooting from there and see what we got. So unfortunately, I lost my creeper somewhere. I don't know if I left it on a job site and it'll turn up, or if maybe it fell out of the back of the truck. I have no idea. It's been a crazy last couple weeks, and my truck's a mess and everything's been all over the place. But we're gonna remove all these lines, slide under here, and remove the mounting bolts for the dryer, get all that changed out, get the air governor adjusted correctly to 120 psi, and see what we got going. Little tab you got to pull up on this and pull out for the electrical connector. All right, so all we got to do is remove this one quick connect fitting and the 3/4 inch bolts on the back, and your cartridge is done. In the shop, this is probably like a 1-hour job. This is what they call easy money, gravy work. It's real nice, but one thing a lot of guys forget to do when they change the dryer over is they don't adjust the governor. So in here there should be a bolt, yeah, that governs your air pressure. So sometimes from the factory they're set super high, and then you have air issues after you replace the dryer. So you want to make sure you adjust this after you replace it, or if you replace the governor, make sure to adjust it. Don't just throw it on, because you never know what it might be set at. So the reason I say in the shop this is like an hour job, because the way you track work mobile versus in the shop is completely different. You know, you will have your parts carried to you, or you get them from the parts guy at your shop. But yeah, you have the parts basically there at your disposal. You know, you only clock on the job once you're actually ready. If not, you're gonna be on like unapplied or shop time or something like that, and you know, then you in and out and you clock right out of it when the job's done. Well, when you're mobile, you know, the whole job is the entirety, front to back, start to finish, picking up the parts to going home. So totally different ball game, totally different field. But that's why I like to clarify the difference between the two. All right, got the dryer out. Gonna swap out all the fittings that we need to, throw the new one on. All right, so one thing you want to make sure when you're swapping these over is that all the fittings go in the right spot, because the new ones won't come with fittings likely. And then 2 is your orientation. So if you notice, it's got the bolt pattern on both sides, so that depends. All these air brake systems are configured after the truck is made, so depending on your configuration of the truck, whether you're heavy hauler, whatever it may be, it depends on how or where this will be mounted. So on our Freightliner, it's mounted just right in the front driver corner of the bumper, which is pretty common. And I've done this before, and I've seen people do this before, where they get it all mounted, everything lined up, and then none of the airlines connect because they actually end up having this on backwards. So just make sure your orientation's correct and everything before you throw it back on. It also smells like pee out here, which really frustrates me because we're at a gas station that's open till like 11 every day, and there's also a decent sized field right behind us, so it's like, why are drivers lazy and just pee freaking right outside their truck? Just kills me. So what gives drivers a bad rep is people doing stuff like that. You know, they get comfortable sitting in a seat for 8 hours a day and forget how to use their feet to go to the bathroom. So don't be that guy if you're a driver. This gas station's pretty cool. They let the drivers park for free, even like, you know, like long term, not just overnight. And it's stuff like that that ruins those privileges. Is eventually, you know, the gas station gets tired of that and doesn't want to do it anymore, and then you got 20 guys that can't park here anymore because of one guy that wants to be lazy and nasty. All right, got all the fittings changed over. Gonna throw this on and start hooking up the lines. So I just ran it for a second to make sure the compressor was actually pushing air, and it is through this hose. I can't even put pressure on it when it's running, so it seems like the compressor is decently strong, and it's not puking out oil or coolant or a bunch of moisture. So maybe the dryer and the governor were the issue. We're gonna just put it back together and kind of go from there. All right, we got everything mounted back together. All the lines are currently on. We're just gonna get it started and adjust the governor through this bolt here. I did put some air brake alcohol in the lines and in some of those lines to just try and clear out any moisture. They were saying they drain like 4 tanks of moisture out of it, so just want to try and dry up the system a little. All right, we're gonna see what the air pressure builds to, and then adjust it accordingly on the governor. All right, so the way you adjust this, it's hard while it's on the truck, but this is just a lock nut. So this here has a slit in it for like a screwdriver. Obviously with it on the air dryer, it's very hard to adjust, but I just loosen the lock nut and use a pair of needle nose, like vice grips or needle nose pliers will work. It's very loose to turn once you get the lock nut loose. So clockwise adjusts the pressure down, and counterclockwise raises the pressure. So for most highway applications, you want 120 psi pop off, and like I said, this one was building to about 160. We're gonna pull it down to about 125 and see if that resolves a lot of the issues we're having here. All right, so this truck still has an air leak on the brake valve somewhere, but this thing's done, man. Builds to about 135 is what I set it at. and 130-ish. I mean, the gauges are kind of rough, but it pops off way before 160, which was the problem before. And so we're gonna keep track of this and see if it's still collecting a lot of moisture in the system. If it is, we're gonna have to figure out why. I drained both the tanks full of they were full of moisture, so I drained both those out. And it could be a matter of the customers not draining their tanks properly. You know, you're supposed to drain your tanks every night. Not everyone does that, but every few nights even would be great. If this thing's going like a month without the tanks being drained, that can obviously cause pressure issues and blow things out or rust stuff up. So we're gonna make sure that the customer is doing that like a few times a week at least. But this thing's good to go. So that's how it's done. That's all pretty much there is to it. I put the little cap back on. You want to make sure to do that, and this job's done. So some good money. Next, we're gonna change the fuel filters and get this guy on the road so I can go home. It's Friday. I appreciate you watching. Again, if you stay to the end, drop a comment, leave a like on the video. It helps us a lot over here, and we've really had a good time making all the videos so far, and look forward to the future. So stay tuned.